4. First on the scene. June 23rd, 2018. Knight misses his birthday party. His family grows worried as the evening goes on, and he still doesn't show up. Calls are made among family members, who then call friends and teammates. None of the boys had told their parents where they were going. The parents soon learned that their sons had messaged other members of the team to tell them of their plans to go to Tamluang. Now the family's worry turns to real fear. At 9:45 p.m. on Saturday, June 23rd, Sangwut Kamongkhon, the director of the Siam Ruamchai Measai Rescue Organization, takes a phone call from the village chief near Tamluang, who tells him that a team of soccer players has gone missing and relatives suspect that the children are trapped in the cave. Sangwut is not surprised as he listens to the details. He has taken calls like this before about Tamluang, when tourists or hikers have been stuck in the caverns. A dropped flashlight or a dead battery is usually to blame, and it doesn't take long to find the missing people. Sangwut follows his rescue protocol, grabbing ropes, flashlights, and first aid supplies, and loads up his truck in the rain. By the time Sangwut hits the highway, rain lashes his windshield. It's coming down hard now, and he takes the turn into the park cautiously. When he pulls up to the parking lot, he sees that some of the parents have already gathered near the mouth of the cave. Sangwut climbs out of his truck and assures the families that everything will be fine. He has already called the other members of his organization, and soon the 18-person rescue team has set up floodlights in the entrance chamber. The boys' bikes have been moved from where they were left on the ground, and now they lean against the railing at the entrance, with soccer cleats lying at the tires. Sangwut isn't sure that the boys are actually inside the cave. They could have been exploring somewhere else in the area. But with rain coming down in torrents, he gets an itching worry in the back of his mind. Before he goes into the cave, he makes a call to the Sirigan Rescue Association in the nearby city of Chiang Rai and asks them to come to Tamluang. Sirigan has special equipment that Sangwut's team lacks, scuba diving gear. Sangwut leads his team into Tamluang. Despite the heavy rains pummeling the mountain outside, the first chambers of the cave are completely dry. An hour and a half later, Sangwut's team arrives at Sam Yak, the bowl-shaped chamber where the three main branches of the cave meet. To their left and lower down, a passage leads southwest. At least, it usually does. Samyak is full of water. The left-hand passage sits low in the chamber, and water that has pooled in the bottom of the junction has covered up the opening completely. Even more discouraging, Sangwut finds footprints and sees a pile of backpacks and sandals near the junction. He cups his hand around his mouth and shouts for the children. He calls up into Monk Series as loud as he can, but he hears nothing back. With the sinking feeling in his stomach, Sangwut understands that the team must have gone left and are now trapped by the water pooled over the opening to the passageway. The Sirigan rescue specialists arrive at Tamluang and enter the cave at 1 a.m. 22 rescue workers, park staff, and even some Royal Thai Army soldiers who were in the area carry ropes and air canisters into the cave, back to Samyak. At the junction, Sirigan's divers strap on their equipment. With no wetsuits, the cold water is a shock as they dive in and begin to look for the left-hand opening. They surface and dive again and again in the swirling water, and finally manage to locate the hole through the muddy murk. But the opening is too small. The divers' bulky air tanks, mounted on their backs, ram against the top of the passage. The Sirigan divers use scuba gear for recovering bodies from the bottom of lakes or rivers, not for diving through flooded caves. The divers aren't equipped to make it through the narrow passage. They decide to halt the diving and hike back out to the cave entrance to talk through a plan. When they emerge into the open air at 4 a.m., Sangwut is surprised to see that the number of family members waiting outside has multiplied. When the families see the rescue workers come out, with no children in tow, they are furious. "What are you doing?" they shout. "How can you stop searching now?" Some of the boys' cousins who have been inside the cave many times try to barge past the rescue workers. "We know the way," they say. They are ready to pull the boys out themselves if that's what it takes. The boys' mothers and fathers call into the cave. Their voices crack with anguish. "My son, I'm here. Come home. I'm waiting for you." Sangwut's heart breaks to hear them, and he understands their frustration. He calms the families, but he doesn't tell them about the water at Samyak Junction. He doesn't want them to panic. Instead, he tells them that the team has come out of the cave because it's so late. and they will resume the search first thing in the morning. The families grudgingly accept this explanation, but they do not leave the scene. The governor of Chiang Rai province, Narongsak Wasatanakorn, has arrived on site. He calls a meeting for all the rescue workers in one of the park headquarters buildings. They agree to pause the rescue because it's too dangerous to dive without proper equipment. They also agree that they must shut down the cave. No one can go in or out without passing a checkpoint. The last step they agree to will fall on the governor's shoulders to carry out. They must tell the parents that their children have been trapped by floodwaters inside. Even though the families are sure to panic, they need to know the truth. Sangwut leaves the meeting, the heavy clouds over his heart matching those in the sky. He knows this cave very well. And he knows that when water reaches Samyak at this time of year, it doesn't go down until after the rainy season is over. That night, Sangwut knows they are in for a long, long rescue.